The hottest request we get around here, and we don't get a lot because we're a pretty young channel, but still, the hottest request is a TVZ involving Serral. Well, that's kind of a no-brainer. Let's do that. Our Zerg player is one of only 3 players in the world who have ever achieved the Triple Crown. Aligulac still ranks him #1 in the world. He is the Night King. He is Serral! His opponent is a far braver man than I. He's using a fake ID, but he's still DeMusliM! DeMuslim's a semi-retired pro and a hugely important analyst on the Starcraft scene. Hey, that was a 17 pool for Serral just there. We'll be looking to see if that means Serral means to get aggressive here, or if this is just his I'm sick of proxy raxes and I'm building my defense in advance build. I should mention that DeMusliM is using the Tyrador skin, so if Terran's units look a bit off to you, it's intentional, it's not the video's quality or your internet connection. Okay, there is the expansion hatch by Serral. It's not going to be some kind of crazy one base. As you can probably guess, I'm not a raving fan of the new Tyrador skin. You're allowed to disagree. We can still be friends. I think it's great that we still get new skins, and I like to support the war chest. Terran's Rax is about to complete. We're going to be looking to see if we've got ourselves a Reaper. There is a Reaper. This is going to be one of those replays where you have to actually click on the building to see what it's producing. I'll just be watching the production tab. Sometimes there's a lot of action going on there, like this Roach Warren. Serral planted that the very moment the spawning pool completed. It looks like Zerg plans to get tough on the Terran right away. Oh man, some days it doesn't pay to get out of bed. Now to support his expenditure layout, Serral's just going for a single queen. So that is going to put a little pressure on him to do some damage. The Reaper is about to finish. There are 4 lings on the map, and they're already streaming for the Terran base. That Reaper would be extremely valuable for defense. Serral's banking he's going to send that Reaper out to scout, and it looks like he's going to be right. The lings have taken an alternate path, and they are going to slip by that Reaper. Terran is about to finish his first Marine back home, though. He's going to need it. That's a vulnerable SCV building that command center. Oh, but Serral sets his eyes on the ramp. He wants to cause chaos in the main. Meanwhile, the Reaper's like, is anybody home? Oh, DeMusliM manages to chase the lings out of the main, and he grabs the first blood while doing it. It's 0 SCVs for Serral so far. Oh, but it looks like his queen is going to grab the Reaper. A great defense for both players. Serral did manage to claim the life of 1 SCV with his 4 lings, but DeMusliM will be happy with that. But his spidey senses are tingling. He knows the real attack is still to come. He's throwing down not 1 but 2 different bunkers. 1 high ground, 1 low ground, and he's not wrong. There's a Roach Ravager attack on the way. His Reaper did not get sight of the Roach Warren, but he's seen enough to know bad news is on the horizon. Is he actually going to finish that bunker in time? He's only got 2 Marines to load it. Hey, every Marine can have his own private bunker. Very spacious. It worked great for the French with the Maginot Line. Oh, the Marines are going to get inside the low ground bunker with just milliseconds to spare. Serral immediately positions his units so he can dance out of range if he needs to. Corrosive bile hits the bunker. The bunker's nice, but it's got nothing to repair it. Fall back, fall back! The Marines race to the high ground bunker, and he gets the salvage just before it would be destroyed. Zerg pulls back, not willing to fight his way up the ramp. He does have an Overlord, though, coming to provide vision. And he's morphing a second Ravager. It's going to be bombs away with corrosive vials. DeMuslim's got a tech lab on his factory. He's trying to get a Cyclone out. That could change the dynamic here. Serral slays a depot. He's also somehow managed to get a drone lead while he's doing all of this. The Cyclone is about to pop. Oh, he's going after the Overlord. That's an excellent choice here. If he can win the vision game, he should be able to hold this. There's 4 Marines in the bunker now. You can't get up that ramp without taking serious damage. The Overlord falls. Serral does force the liftoff at the Terran Natural. And now he's sending his Ravagers home. Or not. The Roach is going back, but the Ravagers have unfinished business. Serral's going to try to delay the Terran Natural even further. It might cost him a Ravager, though. Oh, the Cyclone pops back up the ramp. Meanwhile, DeMuslim's making a Banshee, and he started Cloak. Serral's almost completed his 3rd. Here comes the pustulant pop, and the gray geyser of creep splashes down across the terrain. Serral seems to be contemplating the possibility of an air attack. He's getting his queen count up to 4. At the same time, DeMuslim's got double Cyclones now. Now that the Zerg attack is over, Terran might try to use them to harass. Having completed a defensive driving course, DeMusliM would now like to get his harassment license. It is known as the H-class in most states. Oh, Serral's making blind spores. He knows his timings. He's never actually seen the starport, but he kind of knows about such things. Now, the Cyclones managed to finish off that injured Ravager. That was worth the trip down, especially if he can keep his units alive. DeMusliM will also snag a creep tumor, but then Serral sends out the Queens. It's going to be tough to battle those and be cost effective at the same time. DeMusliM doesn't like it either. He's going to take his injured units home. The first Banshee is done, but it's just staying home to defend. I thought for sure he'd be going out drone hunting. Maybe he's just waiting for Cloak to finish, or the second Banshee. Oh, Serral's just started up lair tech. We'll see what he means to do with that. DeMuslim's feeling a bit more comfortable. He's salvaged a bunker. He knows he's got a simply terrific tank position with that elevated corner. And he's also going to get himself a wall for that natural. Serral's out-resourcing him pretty badly, though. He's going to be under pressure to secure a third, or he's going to potentially fall behind. Serral's sending out a swath of exploratory lings. They're not going to be able to get too much done with that wall there, though. Except that it's down and DeMuslim's moving out. Serral's lings are going to catch the tanks in transition. They weren't sieged, but the lings still tear one down. And they're going to get back into the main again. DeMuslim's forced to pull back his entire attack force to deal with this. The Banshees can definitely clean this up, but this is an information buffet. And that SCV kill was maybe like the salad bar. Okay, so the impromptu Serral feast is over. Is DeMusliM still going to push out? Lair tech completes. Somehow that lair looks even more menacing when it's Serral's. You probably think that's a trick of the eye, but nope, it actually does. Serral's Evo chambers actually also spawn faster. True fact. Except for the parts that I completely made up, which is all of it. So DeMuslim's push has really been stymied. I'm not even sure if he's going for it anymore. Well, as soon as I say that, he pushes out. Serral's using his lair tech to unlock rope speed. That wall looks kind of weird, but I believe it is tight. Those lings aren't going to be able to get inside. But if there's no defense left back at home, they can cause some kind of chaos. DeMusliM does have the bigger army. He wants to wield it. Whoa! Correction, the walls are not tight if the depots are down. Huge misfortune for Terran. DeMusliM did not want to have to be multitasking right now. He has got his tank sieged. With Banshee support, that's going to be very hard for the Zerg to attack into. Serral responds by just making more Roach Ravager Ling. He's also starting +1 ranged attack. No E-bays or armories for Terran. He's going to want to use this window now. There's no stim for those Marines either. Cloak is the only upgrade he's bringing to the table. Though in fairness, Ling Speed's the only one Serral's got right now. Serral's transfusing like a boss. DeMuslim's Marine count is steadily falling. He does get himself a nice high ground position though. And he's managed to save one SCV for field repair. That's transfused Terran style. DeMuslim's continuing to invest in Banshees. They're the only air defense that Zerg really has. Well, something tells me Serral's roaches can jump in the sky and rip them down. Those tanks regret sieging up on creep. And Serral will get the cleanup on the invasion force. Just one very persistent Marine left. Ew, now he's a half a Marine. Oh, Serral's ahead of me on the Banshee issue. He's adding in a Spire. We have seen Terran players get their Banshees up to a critical mass where the Queens just can't handle it. And then the game just spirals out of control. But if you got a Spire, you're pretty safe from that. For his part, DeMuslim's adding double factories. Oh, and he's adding hyperflight rotors. That's the rare Banshee speed upgrade. He's got some kind of Banshee assassin strat in mind. But Serral's Overseer is going to see the Banshees congregating. Oh, there's so little anti-air, the Overseer can just do a complete check of the base. Meanwhile, Serral's adding Overlord speed and +1 armor. Oh yeah, that Overseer gets to see everything, including the addition of 2 new armories. DeMuslim's going to look to upgrade his mech. Serral saw enough to convince himself he didn't want to throw his army at the Terran wall. Instead, he'll continue to build up his expansion at his 4th. Serral's ahead by 27 workers at this point. DeMusliM hasn't taken a 3rd yet. The economic pressure is starting to get pretty heavy. And I fear an additional kind of pressure is going to be created once this Spire completes. And ta-da! It always reminds me a bit of a child's Jack-in-the-Box. Those Terran Apache helicopters are looking pretty terrifying. The speed upgrade takes 2 minutes though. They're only halfway at this point. Unable to attack, Serral's Lings decide to sharpen their claws on some of the local rocks. DeMusliM has landed his command center and taken a 3rd. Boy, did he need that. He wasn't exactly mining out at this point, but when you're down 2 bases and there's no combat for a sustained period, it's very disadvantageous. I keep watching the Banshees because I think there's a lot riding on them. This is a strange route for the Queens to plant creep tumors. They're very far afield if they get caught out there. Zerg's army's double the size of Terran's. Fortunately for DeMusliM, his opponent has no idea how to control a large army properly. Oh wait, that's not true at all. Oh, the queens changed their mind and they're gingerly walking back. They're acting like they saw the banshees. And now Serral's scrambling his mutaforce. There's 10 of them. He's acting like he knows where the banshees are. His mutas get right on top of them. They cloak, but there's detection there. Your plan foiled DeMusliM GG's with barely a fight. I was so not ready for that. All of a sudden, Serral finished him off. Get it? Finished? We got the best nationality puns here, people. Glad to see you guys back on the winner's podium. First off, let's be fair to our poor Terran player. Yeah, he got utterly roasted, but he's a retired pro playing a dude ranked at the top of the world. Even if you disagree with the ranking, put aside that that's the ranking for a Ligulek and Gosu gamer, surely you'll grant me he's at least a top 5 player. Members of the betting public still pick him to win tournaments over the entire field. The fact that DeMusliM wasn't utterly embarrassed shows how good he still is. The dude can hang. Well done. But what I really want to talk about here was that play by Serral at the end. Because I'm embarrassed to say, I'm mystified by it. And I'm like a guy who goes and rewatches it in slow motion. Serral is dangerously walking his queens off creep to plant tumors. It's a bad move because the Banshee hit squad is right there. Suddenly, somehow, Serral realizes his mistake and he withdraws his queens. He does not, though, repeat, does not get vision of the Banshees. I checked with a rewind and then I checked with Serral's own point of view. He never sees them. Not with his queens, not with his creep, not with his overlords. But still, he clearly sees them. His mutas suddenly fly out almost straight for them, and then with just a slight correction, he's on top of DeMusliM's most valuable pieces. Game over. That's pretty much most of DeMusliM's army. How? How does he do that? Well, you tell me. But here's a couple of possibilities I can think of. One, Serral was map hacking. I say that not as a joke, but to stress how good he is. Clearly, he's not a map hacker. He just plays like one. Two, I actually think he might have done it by the process of elimination, as ridiculous as that sounds. It's not a massive map. He's able to spread creep over almost half the map, and he knows the Banshees aren't on his side of the map. Next, he had overlords to the east and west of the Terran base. There's no Banshees in those spots, so he can rule that out. Then he sweeps the Terran base with his overseer. Not only does he see what's in DeMusliM's base, he also somehow manages to see what's not there. No Banshees. And his brain somehow registers that. So he decides they have to be hiding somewhere, and he correctly deduces the exact stretch of the map where they have to be hiding. Boom, he pounces. If I'm right, this dude is freakishly amazing. Somehow, while he's doing everything else, his macro, his micro, his composition, he has in the forefront of his mind what his opponent's most valuable pieces are, and he forms a mental map in his mind where they actually are, or rather where they must be. In this game of incomplete information, Serral has all the information. What can I say? The CIA badly needs to recruit this guy. So before I go, just let me remind you to live life, because nobody wants to die, and hold position. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.